Hello everybody, this is Gleaming Colt. Can we discuss how Tier 8 has always been a fun tier for battleships? Well, as long as they're not Soviet for some reason. I have played many Tier 8 tech tree battleships, and even covered some, like the North Carolina. But Tier 8 has some other bangers as well, like Bismarck, Monarch, Hawk, and Vittorio Veneto. One of my newer Tier 8 tech line battleships. But not my newest. That honor goes to the HMS Hawk. No, not that one. And so, in today's review, we will be taking a look at the Tier 8 tech line Italian battleship, the Vittorio Veneto. Okay, so before we start, I would like to apologize for the delay of this video. I may explain why in the video, but you kind of get a general idea if you read my community post that I made. Anyways, review time. Survivability on the Veneto is pretty good for Tier 8 tech tree battleship. Honestly, it's one of the better ones in Tier 8. With a solid 47,436 hit points. Not the most at Tier 8, but solid nonetheless. Citadel protection and fire and flooding resistance are tied at 15%, so standard for most Tier 8 tech tree battleships. The Americans do get a much better fire and flooding resistance, and the Vladdy does technically have the better stats in these categories, but it's not that bad either. Then again, survivability is not the main problem the Vladdy faces. The shining star of the survivability is the torpedo damage reduction at 27%. Holy shit, that's good. That might be the best torpedo damage reduction at Tier 8. Hell, the only ship that has the same reduction is the Kansas, and the Kansas isn't even that good of a ship. So in summary, while the ship is not the tankiest ship at Tier 8, it can definitely take some punishment. Let's real quick go over maneuverability. It's pretty standard for Tier 8, since we are now getting much faster battleships. Tier 7 and 8 really bring better maneuverability to the table, and Veneto is no exception. With a speed of 28.34 knots and a base time to full speed of 24.52 seconds. The max reverse speed and turn time are pretty standard for Tier 8 battleships, but on the higher end of the list, with 5.50 degrees per second and a 13.20 seconds respectively. So maneuverability on the Veneto is pretty good, and even one of the better ones in this regard, but it's not that different from other battleships at this tier. If you love ships with lots of guns, Veneto has got you covered. In terms of auto secondaries, you only have 9 381mm L50 OTO guns, 3 guns and 3 turrets each. The reload of these guns is 22.31 seconds base, and a decent 13.28 kilometer range. Though for Tier 8 this could be better. Veneto gets AP shells, however since the ship is Italian, SAP shells are also used instead of HE, like all Italian ships. The AP damage of the ship is 1,770, with a base alpha damage of 15,930. The SAP damage is very similar, with 1,829, and a base alpha damage of 16,461. Make no mistake. While the SAP does technically have more power and damage, you will be using AP a lot more since you have a much better penetration power. So only use SAP if you're dealing with destroyers or very lightly armored ships at close range. The Citadel damage rate is the same as pretty much every battleship at 250%, and a 5.35 degree per second traverse speed, so very standard. The accuracy is also very good, and we can get that even better with a certain build. You should know that if you played Warships Blitz more than an hour. The main secondaries are pretty good, but this is not a brawling secondary ship. It just isn't. Anyways, we get 12 152mm secondary guns, 2 3-gun turrets per side. The reload is 8 seconds, and the range is 6.56 kilometers. Pretty decent range with a really meh reload time. The damage is only 448 with a 2% chance of setting a fire. So you don't have a chance of setting a fire. Turret reverse speed is also pretty decent, though. Then you also get a ton of 90mm auto secondaries, with a 6-second reload and a 4.14 kilometer range, and a 0% chance of setting a fire. Okay, fine, it's technically 1%. That's, again, nothing. But these guns are very nice. Well, the main guns are very punchy and shit on many battleships and cruisers. I find myself hitting citadels a lot in this ship, and the secondaries are, well, they exist. And you do have the numbers advantage, so I guess not terrible. But again, this is no secondary ship, so moving on to anti-aircraft. Anti-aircraft just does not exist on this ship. 113 large caliber AA damage and 198 small caliber AA damage. Fuck, this is not great. Many other ships have better AA than you, and the range is just box standard, your usual 3.60 and 1.80 kilometers. Let's just move on from this terrible issue to a very positive one. The concealment is fucking fantastic for Tier 8 battleship standards, with a 10.20 kilometer base range, but with my build of the ship, we can go even lower. Probably a dead giveaway on what my build is, but oh well. While this is not the most stealthy ship at Tier 8, that honor goes to the Hawk, it is still very good concealment, and it's something I love about this ship. Wow, that was 914 words talking about the stats. Why not I give out my build of the ship? But first, the ship skills that I totally did not forget to talk about. Oh well. Veneto comes equipped with Fuel Smoke 2 and Scout Plane 1. Scout Plane increases your main battery range by 12% for 30 seconds. This is the first battleship in the Italian battleship line to come with Scout Plane, and it helps quite a bit with the low gun range. Anyways, now I can finally talk about the build of my ship. So, my build for Vittorio Veneto is one that caters to concealment and guns, in a way. For starters, the elite bonus I have is the elite gun operator for better reload and turret traverse. It's kind of the only option. No, extra torpedo defense is not a good option. And who the fuck goes for the EXP one? Wargaming, please, just get rid of that bonus. No one uses it and it's pretty much junk anyways. Moving on. My supplies are the standard ones I always use. High-grade coal, improved crew rations. Gotta feed my crew with that pasta goodness, after all. And the prevention of maintenance pack. Equipment-wise, I went with main battery mod 3 for dispersion. Alternatively, you could go for main battery mod 2 for better reload, but I personally would rather have better dispersion over reload. In slot 2, I have propulsion mod 1, and I know exactly what you're probably thinking. But Colt, I thought you said the propulsion mod is not useful on battleships. And yeah, I still stand by that. But I play this more as a battle cruiser rather than a battleship. Therefore, it gets my battle cruiser build. Fuck off. I'm sorry. And for slot 3, I went for, well, something that was already teased when talking about my concealment. But instead of propulsion mod 2, I went with concealment mod 1, which gets my concealment down to 9.18 kilometers in range. Of course, you could always go for steering gear or propulsion mod 2, but I personally would want to capitalize on the stealth rather than the speed. Sorry. My commander build is a tad bit outdated, slightly. Since the Colombo lost its precise aiming skill in a nerf, the tier 5 skill will be something later down the line. So, I have legendary commander Angelio Lecino on the ship. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, but I don't think I am. So, my commander build includes underwater protection expert, torpedo alert, artillery maintenance, victorious charge. While technically I have fire supremacy as my tier 5 skill, I will switch over to the first legendary skill, Daredevil Plus. Though you could use survivalist instead if you want more of your repair kits, and that's not a bad thing, honestly. But I just want to capitalize on that legendary skill. Then it's generalist, then fully prepared plus, my fucking god. Further down the line, I will probably go with Adrenaline Rush Plus, obviously, Demolition Expert, Compartment Maintenance Plus, High Loading Density Propellant Charge for Tier 9. 9? 11. Sorry. And Tier 12 is Horizontal Protection Expert Plus. And that is a long-winded explanation for my commander build of this ship. But what about the playstyle of this ship? Vittorio Veneto strives at mid to long range fighting. But, unlike ships like the Hawk, you can definitely get into brawls without getting punished too much. Early in the battle, try to stay near teammates. I mean, yeah, this is obvious. And keep in mind where the islands are, also pretty obvious. And stay at longer ranges, even using the spotter plane to get the first salvo on your enemy before they are even in range. Possibly at least. As the battle progresses, I tend to try to move in and take out any enemy DDs that try to rush me. Unlike the sort of meh Francesco Caracciolo at tier 7, you actually have the power to send DDs to orbit. Use your fuel smoke if you want to get closer to the enemy, or, more favorably, use it for retreating in case you need to. Make sure you also use your stealth to your advantage. While you do have a good amount of armor, you are no Bismarck, and you will take damage from pretty much anything. Avoid any close encounters with German battleships unless they are at low health. Your spaghetti armor cannot take it, and you will most likely sink. And well, you already know what to do when you encounter a, Atlantico. The tier 8 fun police. Oh, you think carriers are bad? No. This cancer machine is. So just avoid fighting any player in an Atlantico. So in summary, start the battle by playing at longer ranges, using the scout plane to get the first salvo at any enemies, or using it to finish off any low health ships. Slowly but steadily move into the thick of the battle, blowing up any ships that come close. Use your fuel smoke to move into a brawl, or use it to retreat. And when you start taking too much damage, always avoid Atlanticos when needed. Though that's just something every ship has to worry about. So, thoughts about the Vittorio Veneto? It's an amazing ship in World Warships Blitz. Great survivability, great maneuverability, great guns. Okay, secondaries are there, but they're still there. And great concealment. And the ship skills really help this ship make this more interesting. Even if I get the Roma, I am keeping this ship. That's how good the ship is. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this review. It is very different from my previous reviews, and I just wanted to try something new with my reviews. While I don't know if I'll fully adopt this way of making reviews, I do know I had a lot of fun making this review. Again, I am truly sorry for the delay on this video. This last week and a half has been awful for me. Well, as of writing this script, this week and a half has been awful for me. But hopefully you all enjoyed this review, and let me know if you like this new style of reviewing ships. I will also have a community post poll to see how you all enjoyed the review style. Anyways, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, comment down below your feedback. I'm always reading guys' comments. And join up on my Discord server. We'll always have a lot of fun there. And bye.